We're living in the noisiest era in history. We've never been so connected and yet so inattentive. In a world where every notification competes for your focus, do you truly have control over your mind? Or have you been silently trained to be weak? The question is straightforward and uncomfortable. Who thinks for you? Niccolo Machiavelli wrote about power, strategy, and control over 500 years ago. But what few realize is that he also warned us, indirectly, about mental weakness. The distracted, fickle, lazy mind, for Machiavelli, was the perfect target for the shrewd ruler. Men, in general, judge more with their eyes than with their hands. This quote isn't just about appearances. It's a direct attack on the superficiality of human thought. Today, this translates into empty consumption, canned opinions, and pre-cooked ideologies. In this video, we'll explore how Machiavelli helps us understand the root of modern manipulation. But more importantly, we'll expose the invisible price of a weak mind, a price you may already be paying without knowing it. Do you believe you have free will, that your choices are your own? After watching this video, you may not be so sure. For Machiavelli, weakness of the mind was not a flaw. It was a weapon in the hands of those who know how to use it. Machiavelli saw human beings as fickle, selfish, and easily deceived. To him, people only desired security and stability, even if it cost them freedom or truth. In The Prince, he states, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few feel what you really are." The common, distracted mind is incapable of discerning the true from the convenient. This isn't just a critique of ignorance, it's a revelation about the structure of power. The weak mind is the fertile field for the domain. Whoever controls the narrative controls perception. And whoever controls perception governs, even without holding any office. In a modern context, a weak mind isn't just someone uncultured or uneducated. It's someone who can't focus, who trades convictions for likes, who gets lost in stimuli and lives on autopilot. It's someone who doesn't see manipulation because they're too busy being entertained. The weakness of the mind, therefore, is strategic. For Machiavelli, the intelligent leader doesn't try to enlighten the people, he entertains them, and thus he governs. What Machiavelli teaches us is that superficial thinking isn't just a personal flaw, it is a political vulnerability. When the masses are distracted, the smart ones decide. The Machiavellian principle is not just about winning, it's about ensuring that others never know you're missing out. And today, the battlefield is your attention. We live in a reality where domination no longer happens with sword and crown, but with dice and distraction. The new prince doesn't need to conquer territories. He conquers timelines. He doesn't rule by decree, he rules by algorithm. The Machiavellian logic that it is better to be feared than loved reinvents itself in another form. It is better to be consumed than being ignored. The big platforms understand this. They don't want your loyalty, they want your dependence. And the weaker your mind, the more easily you become hostage to this dopamine machine and constant distraction. Imagine an entire population that can't spend 5 minutes in silence without picking up their cell phones. That reads headlines without clicking on the news. That forms opinions based on memes. Machiavelli would see this not as decadence, but as opportunity. Such a people are governable, predictable, controllable. Social media, the media, influencers, all have become modern versions of the prince, influencing behavior, shaping values, generating conflict, and selling solutions. The war of the 21st century is fought for the control of attention. Those who control it control narratives, and those who control narratives shape reality. This silent power is more effective than any traditional domination because it doesn't need to impose itself, it just seduces. Your feed is always giving you what you already want, reinforcing your beliefs, feeding your vanity, and distracting your pain. It's a magic mirror that says, "You're right, you're important, stay here." Meanwhile, decisions about your future, your mental health, your purchasing power, and even your worldview are being made without your awareness. As Machiavelli said, men forget the death of their father more quickly than the loss of their wealth. Today, your wealth is your attention, and it's being plundered daily. In the Machiavellian universe, the man who does not master himself will always be dominated by others. He who lacks a strategy will be part of someone else's strategy, and this has never been more evident than now. Are you a customer or a product? Do you have a voice or merely echo the voices of others? Are you thinking or merely reacting? The current system fuels intellectual complacency, emotional reactivity, and chronic anxiety, and all of this serves one purpose: to keep you vulnerable. A fragmented mind does not resist, does not question, does not create. It merely consumes and obeys. The practical application of Machiavellian thinking is everywhere, only now it comes with a clean interface, a like button, and colorful notifications. The manipulation is no longer brutal, it's subtle. It doesn't say, "Do this." It says, "You want to do this, don't you?" And you say yes without thinking. Mental weakness today is disguised as freedom, and freedom, as Machiavelli warned, is just a word when one lacks real power. And real power only belongs to those who master themselves before attempting to dominate the world. The greatest illusion of the modern era is to believe that we think for ourselves, that our opinions are the result of reflection, that our desires are authentic, that our decisions are free. Machiavelli already warned that human beings tend to deceive themselves to avoid facing their vulnerability. It seems more bearable to everyone to deceive themselves than to acknowledge their error, he said. Deep down, most people prefer a comfortable illusion to a disconcerting truth, and this choice comes at a price. If you don't acknowledge your weakness, someone will exploit it. A weak mind isn't born weak. It becomes weak through habit, through lack of discipline, through a refusal to doubt, through a constant escape from silence and discomfort. Today, any attempt to delve deeper into a topic is quickly replaced by distraction. A message, a short video, a notification. The brain becomes conditioned to intolerant of boredom. But it is in boredom, in emptiness, in friction with reality, that true thought is born. Machiavelli knew this. That's why he taught that leaders should cultivate patience, cunning, and observation, while the people could live distracted, as long as they believed they were celebrating. Another brutal mistake is confusing opinion with thought. Having an opinion is easy these days. You choose a side, repeat the speech, and voila, you're informed. But Machiavelli would say that those who merely choose sides without understanding the game are nothing more than pawns. Whoever wants to deceive will always find someone who will allow themselves to be deceived. The weak mind doesn't want truth. It wants validation. And this desire makes it easy prey for those who know how to manipulate with charisma, emotion, and simplicity. The result? Millions of people convinced they are free while blindly repeating the ideas of their favorite manipulators. Perhaps the most serious error is mental arrogance. The belief that this doesn't apply to me, that I'm too smart to fall for it. This kind of thinking is what Machiavelli most despised. Because true intelligence lies not in believing oneself immune, but in always suspecting oneself. The Machiavellian ruler won precisely because he understood human weaknesses and never underestimated any. On the contrary, the people lose because they feel too secure, too smart, too certain, and so they live blind in their own illusion of control. Therefore, the common error is not simply ignoring Machiavelli, it's living exactly as he described, but thinking we are different. This is where the tragedy is complete. When the weak mind believes itself strong, when the manipulated see themselves as free, when the dominated believe they lead. The illusion of mental freedom is the greatest triumph of modern power. And the longer we wait to recognize this, the deeper the hole we dig ourselves into. Machiavelli doesn't condemn us, he describes us. And only by recognizing this can we perhaps change the game. If a weak mind is the key to silent domination, then strengthening the mind is, consequently, the greatest act of rebellion possible. Machiavelli never romanticized human beings. He didn't believe in purity nor innate goodness. He believed in strategy. And that's why your thinking can be liberating, because it doesn't require you to be a hero, just to be lucid. Prudent men have always known how to turn misfortunes into advantages. This applies to politics, business, and above all, to consciousness itself. In today's world, where distraction is the norm, focusing has become a revolutionary act. The first step on the Machiavellian path is know your weaknesses before someone exploits them. Are you easily distracted, afraid of looking stupid, seeking excessive approval? Be careful. All of this can be used against you. Strengthening your mind is a painful process because it requires self-criticism, silence, and introspection. 3 things today's culture wants you to avoid at all costs. Because in silence, you hear your own mediocrity. And that's where change begins. Machiavelli didn't teach ethical virtues. He taught effective virtues: courage, patience, cold intelligence, resilience. All of this can be trained, and it should be. But make no mistake, mental strengthening doesn't happen by reading catchphrases on Instagram or watching motivational videos. That's just another distraction disguised as evolution. True strengthening requires daily discipline, reading deeply, writing to think better, cultivating silence, cutting out digital addictions, observing more than talking. It's understanding that you're in a game, and that like every game, it has rules. Most people don't even know they're playing. Now you do. And Machiavelli would say that just for that, you're already 2 steps ahead of everyone else. The second step is master the language. He who masters language masters the world. Words are weapons, shields, and masks. A modern prince communicates with precision. He is not driven by emotions, he uses them. And this begins with clarity of thought. He who thinks cloudily speaks weakly, and he who speaks weakly lives dominated. Machiavelli did not write to please, he wrote to impact. He knew that the right word, at the right time, could be worth 1,000 armies. In today's world, where everything becomes noise, clarity has become power. Ultimately, the Machiavellian path is take responsibility for your own destiny. This doesn't mean controlling everything. It means stopping outsourcing blame. If you're distracted, it's your fault. If you're weak, it's your job to change. The prince doesn't wait for the world to improve. He acts, even when it worsens. And that's the spirit you need to cultivate. While others live numb to stimuli, you can sharpen your mind like a blade. And when everyone else is asleep, you'll be ready, not to dominate them, but to never be dominated again. If Machiavelli were alive today, he wouldn't write The Prince. He would write The Algorithm. Because he would understand that the new sovereign no longer needs to be a man, it can be a machine. And the machine doesn't need to punish, only distract. What we're experiencing isn't a collapse of humanity, but a silent transfer of power, from the hands of political leaders to platforms, from rulers to influencers, from libraries to feeds. And all of this was possible because minds became weak, because we gave up thinking, because we traded depth for speed. You need to ask yourself with brutal honesty, is my mind my own, or is it a reflection of the environment that surrounds me? Are the ideas I defend truly mine, or were they planted within me? What I desire, is it real desire or conditioning? Machiavelli didn't want everyone to be leaders. He knew the majority would always be governed. But if you've made it this far, perhaps it's because something inside you refuses to remain part of the masses. Maybe you're ready to stop being manipulated and start manipulating yourself. But there is one final warning, and it is not a light one. There is no neutrality. Either you strengthen yourself, or you will be weakened. Either you dominate, or you will be dominated. The illusion of neutrality is the zone where the weak live, waiting for someone to come and save them, waiting for the system to change, waiting for life to improve on its own. Machiavelli would never have mercy on this. He believed in action, in cunning, in initiative. He who waits too long loses. He who thinks too much and acts too little loses. He who pretends to be in control when he clearly isn't loses. Always. You can turn off this video now and go back to your feed, to the short videos, to the memes, to the ready-made opinions, and maybe everything we've said here will disappear in seconds. Or you can choose to do what almost no one does. Really think about who you are becoming, because if you don't decide who you're going to be, someone else will decide for you. And that's the essence of the game. That's Machiavelli's true lesson, and the price of ignoring it is being ruled by those who didn't ignore it. So I leave you with one last question, not for you to answer now, but for you to carry with you from now on. Do you rule your mind? Or do you just inhabit a body that responds to external commands? You made it all the way to the end. That already puts you in a rare group, because most would have already swiped, clicked another tab, and moved on to the next stimulus. But you stayed, you listened, and now you carry a responsibility. What will you do with this knowledge? The truth is harsh, and once it enters, it never leaves. It corrodes illusion, shatters comfort, and disturbs the soul. But it is this discomfort that separates the weak from the strategist, the distracted from the awake, the dominated from the sovereign. You can no longer pretend you don't know, because now you know. Your mind is your castle, and if you don't take care of it, someone will invade, occupy, and turn you into a well-behaved puppet. Don't be just another one. Don't go back to automatic. Don't settle for understanding. React, start now. Eliminate the excess. Observe your habits. Question your impulses. Uninstall what distracts you. Read what challenges you. Train your mind like a warrior trains his sword, because today's world doesn't forgive the weak. And as Machiavelli said, the opportunity makes a man a prince, but if he has no virtue, he loses the opportunity. The age of distraction is also the age of opportunity, and whoever wakes up first rules. If this video bothered you, made you think, took you out of your comfort zone, so share it with someone who is still asleep, not out of vanity, but out of strategy. Someone needs to provoke the shock. Someone needs to light the match inside the cave. Leave your comment below. What made you reflect the most? Where did you realize your own weakness? Be honest. This is no place for ego. It's for real evolution. And if you want to continue on this journey of mental, moral, and strategic strengthening, subscribe, turn on notifications. Here, we don't sell easy answers. Here, we train intellectual gladiators. Every week, a new chapter of reality, unfiltered, unanesthetic, because the world out there is waiting for you. And there are only two roles, the one who gives orders and the one who obeys. The choice, as always, it's yours. Or you strengthen your mind, or someone will use it against you.